What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires, and apparently Marvel Studios didn't want all the shine going to Sony and all of the filming for Spider-Man, so they decided to let Ryan Reynolds do his stealth marketing the way that Ryan Reynolds does on his social media, and he just teased Deadpool's return in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. And we are going to get into some major spoilers in this video because this has technically already been confirmed, not just officially. We're going to talk about where, because we actually know the context and setting in which Deadpool returns, as well as other characters, as you might have guessed, in Deadpool's orbit. We're breaking it all down, this latest quote-unquote official reveal via Ryan Reynolds, teasing Deadpool's return in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helped grow the channel. And if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to do so. It's the number one thing you can do to support us, plus it'll automatically enter you for all of the giveaways. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so at this point, I'm sure a lot of you are pretty familiar with the fact that Ryan Reynolds often uses his own social media in order to promote all things Marvel and Deadpool. Yesterday was the same case, where he took to social media to post this photo 8 hours ago, so late last night, early this morning, of the Avengers logo with the Anarchy A over the top of it, the exact same logo from Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, a couple of things here. If there are some of you who are skeptical that this has anything to do with Avengers Doomsday, of course it does. Also keep in mind, and for context, this is coming just weeks before the next round of rumored casting announcements for Avengers Doomsday, which, if you missed our coverage on that, is rumored for Wednesday, August 27th, in just a couple of weeks. So not only is this Ryan Reynolds confirming Deadpool's involvement in Avengers Doomsday, it's also basically confirming this rumor we're going to get another round of casting announcements soon. Now, as exciting as all that is, I mentioned during the prologue that there were some major spoilers that basically confirmed this. We are going to issue a spoiler warning now in case you don't want to know this stuff and missed our coverage from months ago. This would be the time to back out, otherwise you've been forewarned. But 3 months ago on April 21st, this video was posted to Unbox PhD's YouTube channel. I've left his watermark down at the bottom of the screen. This is the same guy who's gotten most of the aerial footage of the behind the scenes sets on Avengers Doomsday. And on those same grounds, right next to the other sets we've seen, which look like the X-Men Mansion courtyard with all of the craters and rubble and a Sentinel lane in the middle, right next to it is this set from Deadpool and Wolverine from the scene where they face off against the Deadpool Corps. Now, we suspected this means that we will be revisiting this scene and probably this exact moment, and if they're going to be picking up Deadpool from this scene, there's also a really good chance they're going to be picking up Hugh Jackman. And just a second, as I have said this several times in the last couple of months, you can imagine when the Russos finally got into the war room, made their big board of characters to involve in both of these Avengers movies, they didn't look at Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, a pipe dream back in the days of Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and go, you know what, nah, let's not use him. I gotta imagine he was probably one of the first characters put on the board, and considering the last time we saw him, he's now in Deadpool's 10,005 universe, the very same universe we suspect is going to be the mainline X-Men universe and where Monica Rambeau is right now. But since it feels like Marvel's overall plan is to stick everybody X-Men in the 10,005 or the same timeline, it would be hard to imagine a world where they would take Deadpool, as Ryan Reynolds has now teased, and involve him in Avengers Doomsday and not have Wolverine by his side the way they were paired basically when we last left them. And remember, Channing Tatum's Gambit being announced in the first round of cast announcements was our first inkling that Deadpool and Wolverine were going to be a part of the film, since that's where he was introduced. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them all basically reunited as one of these small teams that fight against Doom. But I think what's far more interesting than just his involvement in the project is how the Russos are going to choose to employ not only his humor but the character altogether. It's really hard to have Deadpool in any scene that's expected to keep an extremely serious or somber tone. You just always know that if Deadpool's there, he's going to subvert how serious it is with this irreverent attitude and an ill-timed joke. That's just par for the course with Deadpool, and of course with him able to break the verisimilitude and actually address the audience, he's an overwhelmingly point of view character that changes the mood whatever room he's in. While there have always been characters like Thor, like Rocket, that you expect to use a well-timed joke for some comedic relief in a serious moment, and even to a more major extent, that whole irreverent attitude or making jokes when you should be taking things seriously from Deadpool is a lot like Tony Stark, but that's almost making my point. That becomes a major point of view character, and obviously this movie is meant to focus on a much bigger ensemble and a lot more important characters to the narrative than how Deadpool fits in. So I can't wait to see what the Russos are going to choose to do with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, where and how they use him, where you could obviously see something like Hugh Jackman's always angry, always got a chip on his shoulder Wolverine playing into a story like Avengers Doomsday a lot easier than someone like Deadpool. But what I will say is, from very obviously and during the Marvel canon, Deadpool takes joining the MCU, the 616 sacred timeline, very seriously. We saw that in Deadpool and Wolverine. So one of the few things he does seem to have reverence for, one of the few things he does take seriously, is fighting alongside the Avengers. So maybe when that opportunity comes now for him to have that major team up, and he'll be inspired by the 616 characters to actually take things seriously. But who are we kidding? It's Ryan Reynolds, it's Deadpool. He's not taking anything seriously. Now, there is one other small little asterisk you have to put by this, and this has just been acknowledged by Marvel Studios and Sony with how they're going to treat Jon Bernthal's Punisher and how they're going to treat Deadpool. These are very obviously rated R characters that need to be toned down somewhat to better fit the story they're going to be in, not just because they're PG-13 and this Avengers movie and Spider-Man Brand New Day both will be, and there will be tons of kids in the audience, but really in the context of the story being told, the Punisher, the way he acts on Daredevil, won't fit into a PG-13 Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. He can still be the Punisher, it just needs to be toned down a bit, and it'll have to be the same way with the profanity for Deadpool, because if Ryan Reynolds plays him anything like the way that he's played him before, that movie will be rated R before they're out of the very first scene that Deadpool's in. I think you can get away with one strategically planned F-bomb that's if you want it in a PG-13 movie, and Deadpool would sign up for the 1st, 2nd, 5th, 10th, all of them, and they just can't have that. So they're going to have to really play with his dialogue so he can keep the same level of humor without keeping the same level of offense, because that just won't work. And I think these are all very curious things to focus on as we start to see these ensembles of characters come together. Some of them obviously fit better than others, and Deadpool's just one of those standouts that's so much different than the rest of the characters. But it is awesome, however, to hear that obviously Kevin Feige's quotes about wanting to get Deadpool and Wolverine involved in the Avengers movies more after he saw Deadpool and Wolverine seem to be coming to fruition. Also exciting, we might actually be getting this casting announcement on the 27th. Quick reminder to hit the sub button, leave a comment down below that will automatically enter you for our PS5 giveaways, all the other giveaways at the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on to better keep up with the videos. And of course, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And if there's any of you at the channel that are going to be at Base Canyon this weekend at the Gorge, make sure you check out my set with KJ Saga on Saturday at 6:15 on the Crater stage. Thanks for checking this video out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.